The day my mother transferred control of our family fund to my sister, she tagged me in the group chat and wrote, "Be understanding. She has children, you do not." I replied with one word, "Fine." 3 months later, they were waiting outside my office, begging me not to publish the audit. The first page said this: over 5 years, $2.87 million intended for charity was redirected to private lifestyle spending. My name is Shen Yu. I am 31, and I work in cross-border M&A due diligence. In my world, when people say trust me, I ask for source documents. But inside my own family, I spent 20 years being the obedient daughter who trusted tone over evidence. My father built his business from nothing. When the company stabilized, he created a family charity fund called Clear Shore Initiative. He said money has dignity only when it lightens the life of someone who cannot repay you. I believed him. At 17, I traveled with him to deliver winter uniforms in mountain schools. I still remember him carrying boxes up stone steps in the rain. My sister, Shen Lan, is 4 years older than me. She married early and has 2 children. My mother calls her sacrificial and family-centered. I am labeled independent, ambitious, and therefore less domestic. In our house, those words were never neutral. Last spring festival, the mood changed after the 3rd round of drinks. My mother said the fund needed restructuring. She claimed I traveled too much and could not provide stable oversight. My sister offered to step in as a practical manager. My father said nothing, only set his chopsticks down. A month later, legal papers arrived at my office. They reassigned execution authority and co-signing rights from me to my sister. My mother called before I could call her. She used the voice she used when I was 12 and she wanted instant compliance. "Your sister has kids and pressure," she said. "You are capable anywhere. Let her carry this." I asked whether this was about governance or about who counted as real family. She avoided the question and said not to make things hard. That evening, I stood by my office window and watched headlights crawl over the elevated road. I realized they did not need my agreement. They needed my silence. So I gave them fine. Everyone relaxed. To them, the conflict was over. To me, it had just begun. I opened an internal project file and named it Project Tide. Step 1. Request full transaction exports for the last 5 years. Step 2. Run beneficiary verification with random field callbacks. Step 3. Appoint an external forensic team with bilingual deliverables and chain of custody controls. At first glance, everything looked polished. There were invoices, impact photos, vendor contracts, and smiling children in branded jackets. Perfection is a risk indicator in my profession, so I looked for friction points. I found 2 patterns in week 2. Procurement unit prices rose every year without market basis, and one recurring supplier listed a co-working address with no warehouse footprint. Week 3, the first red flag memo arrived. 3 clinic equipment disbursements totaling $420,000 landed at an event planning firm. That firm split funds into 2 travel agencies. Payment notes said family retreat, youth study tour, anniversary yacht package. The dates matched my sister's social posts from European islands. I did not react publicly. I instructed the team to trace final beneficial recipients. Week 6, second red flag memo. Consulting fees had been paid repeatedly to an advisory company owned by my sister's closest friend. 5-year total, $930,000. The firm's public profile advertised wedding planning. I sat alone in the conference room after midnight and stared at my father's photo on my phone. What hurt was not only theft. What hurt was theft wrapped in the language of kindness. My father was the first person I told. I brought a draft report to his study and placed it on his desk. He read silently for a long time. Then he asked one question. "Are you certain?" I said every conclusion was evidence-backed and traceable. He closed his eyes and said, "Leave it with me." I wanted to believe he could still repair the house from inside. 3 days later, my mother texted, "Your father has high blood pressure. Do not scare him with professional language. Family matters stay in family." That same evening, my sister called in tears. She said she had borrowed temporarily and would replenish everything. She said her husband's cash flow was under pressure and she had no options. I asked if she thought about the children who were supposed to receive medical aid. She called me cold. When you stop being convenient, cold is the first label people choose. The break came at the family council meeting. More than 20 relatives sat around the table. Before I arrived, my mother had already framed me as emotionally unstable from work stress. For 10 minutes, everyone advised harmony. I let them finish. Then I connected my laptop to the projector. Slide 1, 5-year forensic review. Misappropriation indicators confirmed. Slide 2, timeline of flagged transfers. Slide 3, callback audio clips from listed beneficiaries. One woman said they never received equipment, only a photo session. Another said her signature on file was not hers. The room went quiet in less than 2 minutes. My mother slammed the table and called the report fabricated by outsiders. I displayed audit credentials, digital signatures, bank confirmations, and evidence hash logs. She switched strategy and called it operational negligence. I advanced to the relationship map. The central node connected directly to my sister and brother-in-law. My sister rushed toward the projector and shouted that she did it for family stability. Then she said the sentence no one could unhear. "Do you know how expensive it is to maintain our standard of living?" There it was. Not confusion, not misunderstanding, entitlement. The meeting ended in fragments. In the hallway, my father stood still for a long time. He said quietly, "Finish the process." That was the sound of an old order closing. The next 2 months were the dirtiest period of my life. Anonymous posts said I was jealous of my sister's family. Accounts spread rumors about my relationships and mental health. Emails were sent to my clients hinting I lacked ethics. I did not fight in comment sections. My team did legal capture and regulatory submissions day after day. Outrage moves fast online. Evidence survives longer in court. By month 3, proceedings reached substance. Disputed accounts were frozen. Third-party trustees took over execution control. Core vendors were audited and inconsistencies multiplied. My brother-in-law's company rushed out a distancing statement. Then my mother came to my office. No makeup, no prepared speech, only fatigue. She asked me to withdraw part of the filing for the children. I looked at her and felt grief instead of anger. Even then, she still used children as a shield instead of saying we were wrong. I asked whether she had spent even one honest minute thinking about real recipients. She looked away and said, "Does that question help now?" I said yes, because this time rules must outrank relationships. The final outcome was not a fantasy ending. No lightning, no dramatic collapse. Reality was procedural. Funds were clawed back in phases. Responsible parties were removed from governance. The charter was rewritten. Public disclosure and external oversight became mandatory. My sister lost authority and, more painfully, trust. Family ties fractured, of course. Some relatives called me ruthless. Others said this should have happened earlier. I replied to none of them. I spent my time rebuilding actual impact. 6 months later, we restarted 3 verified programs: pediatric asthma medication support, mobile clinics for remote areas, job skilling grants for single mothers. At the first review meeting, we received a handwritten note. The sentence was crooked but clear. "Thank you. This time the medicine really arrived." That was the first moment I cried. A friend asked if I regretted making it public. She said if I had stayed quiet, family might still look like family. I told her that is not family. That is collusion. I still live alone and run by the sea on weekends. When the wind is strong, I think about that one word in the group chat: fine. People thought it was surrender, only I know it was notice. I am opening the books now. If I ever have a daughter, I will not teach obedience as virtue. I will teach boundaries. I will teach that love is not a liability waiver. I will teach her to ask one question when everyone says let it go. Who is afraid of your seriousness? My mother and I still exchange holiday messages. We are polite like former colleagues. She never mentions the report. I no longer wait for sudden understanding. Some relationships do not return to what they were. You can still return to yourself. Last month, my sister sent me a long apology. It began with "I am sorry" and ended with "if I could do it again." I did not delete it. I did not respond. Not forgiveness, not revenge, just placement. Her regret belongs where her choices belonged. The fund is called Clear Shore. I used to think that name was sentimental. Now I think it is precise. A shore is not where water never reaches you. A shore is the line you refuse to surrender when the tide rises.